We've got some new news to go over. There was a small update that hit the Guild Wars 2 website. A quick update on the Skills and Balance team, dated today, September 9th, 2022. Now, let's see, this says posted 19 minutes ago. That's not true. We're gonna hit F5. This is 2 hours ago now. All right, so this was posted by Josh Davis. That is Groucheroo, I believe. And it reads thusly. Hi all. Since the June 28th Professions update, we've been making changes to how we approach balancing Guild Wars 2 combat with the goal of better serving our community. We have a few updates to share with you today. Pause. All right, so how they're making changes. So not too long ago, they nerfed, the biggest example is Catalyst. They nerfed Catalyst into the ground because the top, it wasn't even 1%. The top 0.1% of players were able to play Catalyst to a godly degree and do absolutely insane things with it. So they nerfed all Catalyst. So they nerfed all because of what the tip top were able to do. Catalyst is one of those classes that has a very, very high skill ceiling. You can keep improving and, getting more damage out of it if you're, really, really crazy. Mechanist, for example, if you're just like a Mechanist with a rifle, very good damage baseline, but the ceiling doesn't go up much higher than that, even if you're very skilled with it. So they said that they were going to stop trying to balance around the people at the top and more try to balance around, the masses that played the game, which is, as most of us believe, that is a good thing. So, picking up from there. Please join us in congratulating game designer Cal CMC Cohen for taking on the role of Skills and Balance team lead. Get the bottles of water. Before joining ArenaNet, Cal was a hardcore Guild Wars 2 player. 10K, I was actually about to say, I think he's got 10K hours played, and then boom, it's right there, 10K hours played. And live streamer. It's true. He's my senpai, chat. His deep understanding of the game's combat system was clear to us when he joined the team in 2016. Since then, he's grown considerably as a game and balance designer, and he's really stepped up as a leader on the team since late June. He's ready for this new role, and we're looking forward to seeing him fully unleashed. So a couple of notes on that. It's pretty clear. So Cal, for those of you that don't know him, CMC, he was the one who did a lot of the...
Dude! That game made you!
Okay, weird. He was the one who, back when they were showcasing the End of Dragons Elite specs, he was the guy that was playing them in the dev room during the demonstration and showing us a lot of what they could do. It's very clear when you watch him do this stuff, he's not just reading off a script. He actually has a better understanding than I do, than most of us do, of all the classes. He has a solid knowledge foundation for every class. He's not just like the warrior class lead or something like that. So this could absolutely be a very good thing. Due to the recency of the leadership change mentioned above, we're making some adjustments to our balance update timeline to give Cal and the team more time to finalize their plans and balance approach. The biggest change is that the October 4th balance update will mostly focus on addressing issues in PvP and World v World. These modes haven't seen many significant updates over the past months. It's true. For a couple of things, like obviously the whole game got the whole game shook up when the Elite specs came out. All game modes got a shake during that. However, aside from that, not much has happened in PvP and World v World since COD. I actually had high hopes when they talked about nerfing Firebrand stability uptime in World v World recently, and then this is coming from my perspective, of course. The Firebrands whined a lot on the forums, and then they said, "Fine, we'll do it later." So their 5 years of overpoweredness continues a little bit longer. But yeah, so they basically said like, okay, we'll get some other classes to have better stability uptime before we take away yours, and then they gave Tempest and Druid ways to give stability, but you have to sacrifice so much to do it that it's not often taken by any Tempest or Druid I've seen in most content. But and that's they're PvE only right now. So supposedly in the near future there will be ways for other supports to provide more stability, and then they're going to take some away from Firebrands. But yeah, These modes haven't seen any many significant changes, updates over the past months, and they could use a bit of love. As a small teaser, you can expect to see reworks to the 300-second cooldown traits. You'll learn more about that update next week. Stay tuned. Now, this is the reason I logged onto this character and put him in this room, and it was to show you this. So there was a bunch of traits that they did not like in PvP not so long ago. Here's an example of one off the top of my head. Eternal Bond. When a soul beast is merged with their pet, if they would have been killed, it instead just separates the two of them, but they're both low health. It used to be like I think a minute or two cooldown. Well, they didn't like it. So instead of replacing, it's a Grandmaster trait. Instead of replacing it with something else or changing what it does or making it more increased cooldown but still viable, they just took a whole bunch of skills like this that they didn't like and just put 300-second cooldowns on them. They did this February 2020. And they'd said at that time, they said, we're just doing this temporarily. We're going to come back to these on the next patch or very soon, and we're going to update them. That was 2.5 years ago. So a little bitter about that. So basically, all these classes that had something like this essentially just lost like a Grandmaster trait option in their trees. There's no replacement for it. So I mean, like, any soul beast is going to take this or this. They're not going to take this sucker where they can use once per freaking match. Like, it's too long a cooldown. There was a lot of classes that had these, and they've been sitting like that for 2.5 years. If you don't play PvP at all, you probably wouldn't know about that. But yeah, it's definitely kind of a sour subject. Very glad to see them coming back to that. You'll learn more about that update, referring to the 300-second cooldown update, next week. Stay tuned. The October 4th balance update was originally planned to be our final major balance update of the year. However, we're changing course a bit now that its focus has shifted to addressing issues in competitive play. We've added an additional balance update to the schedule for November 29th. And with this update, we're aiming to get back to having our major balance updates include changes for all game modes rather than a focus on a single area. Cal and team will share the updated balance philosophy with you prior to that release's balance preview. So something to say about that. Let's say, we get our dream come true and we get a ArenaNet team that is just pumping out updates every couple of months, keeping things fresh and stuff like that. It is important to know that might not be the dream scenario you have in your head, because sometimes their vision is different from ours. That was a bitter pill I had to swallow a couple of years ago. For example, the last they mentioned it, their vision for PvP is that Warriors, Guardians, and Tempests are viable supports. Now, obviously, Spectre's doing great right now, but they have made no mention, or from what I can tell, attempt to make, Druid a viable support in PvP. And I think they're fine with that. Mechanist is, of course, a god mode support in PvE, but it's not in PvP. Now, I think that's fine. Mechanist already has a lot going for it. That's just another example off the top of my head. But, their view for what a class should and should not be able to do often differs from the players. So sometimes they might do updates that, we're not thrilled with, but shifts the game in a direction of what they choose. That's it for today. Your professions are in great hands with Cal at the helm. Thanks for reading, and we'll see you next week. Signed, Josh Grouch Davis. And here's something else. Are we going to see CMC Unleashed, or will we have 300-second cooldowns for another 2 years? It's been stated in the past that the PvP World v World skills and traits were beholden to PvE balance. Please deliver on the promises for the trait reworks. And, dude, really? They shouldn't have even responded to this. Yeah, okay, so that player is obviously being a bit spicy, but that's exactly what I was talking about a while ago. They did say 2.5 years ago that here's, these 300-second cooldowns are a stopgap to stop these skills we don't like. We're going to come back and replace these soon, and then, it was a very long time. Now, I will say, in Guild Wars 2, did you highlight all of this with white? What the heck? In Guild Wars 2's defense, over the last year, pretty much everything they've said that they were going to do, they've done. They have been very communicative with the public. They have been very on time with the updates that they have said they were going to do. The communication's been great. Very happy to see it. It's just that, you know, those of us that have been around a long time, we're kind of like, this is awesome. I hope you do that. But you're not going to tear my heart out again, so I'm not getting too invested. You know, that's kind of how we are. That's kind of how we are. So it's like, I'll believe it when I see it, but I would love to see it. Awkward smile, thumbs up, clap. That's it. But yeah, they've been hitting the mark a lot lately, and I hope that they continue to do so. Cal is I consider him more, there's a handful of players, like, you know, Valen, Teapot, Sendriner, that I'm just like, man, mechanically, they are leagues ahead of me in this game. And CMC is absolutely one of them. He's absolutely one of them. Like, I'm just a professional casual. I'm just a casual that plays a lot. But CMC very much knows what he's talking about. And, you know, honestly, I hope they give him the freedom to do what needs to be done. Because I feel like a lot of times what happens is like there was a time not so long ago that they said they were going to be doing updates. What was it, like every 2 months or something? There was some kind of time period they said that was very frequent that they were going to do updates, and they did one of those, and then it just stopped and communication severed again. And he was the one who did that update. However, I don't know, it kind of felt, as someone on our side who doesn't have the insider info, it kind of felt like he lost the ability to do that. Like they just took the power away. That's speculation. I don't know, but that's how it felt. Could you link the forum post? Absolutely. There you go. But yeah, anyway, that is the whole update for today. So it seems like we're going to have another update sometime next week that is going to have reworks on the 300-second cooldown traits. Very excited to see that. And then, yeah, October 4th is now going to be PvP World v World Balance update, and then November 29th will be yet another update. So we're getting an extra huge patch this year, chat. We are getting an extra huge patch. We thought we were getting one more. There will be two. So, yeah. As always, links are in the description down below. If you got any questions, problems, thoughts, concerns, or ideas that I missed on this topic, feel free to drop them down below. We're all about sharing the information here. Until next time.